So for third period, I decided that I'd take what worked in second period and what worked in first period and conglomerate them together to make an effective, what I thought would be an effective game plan in this lesson that I had. And this time around, I decided to take straight from my facilitation in Ed 475 with David and implement the warm demander method that I was so fond of when we read Multiplication is for White People by Lisa Delpit. So I decided for third period I would at least begin to strategize on and employ the warm demander to refine that skill. So the lesson plan really revolved around group work at the beginning and at the end. I had students work in groups for both the warm-up and the assessment, and my observations on that, students produced very high quality responses. Not only were they working in groups, but I also made sure that I walked to each group and had a small conversation with them. And what was coming out of these groups was pretty impressive because they were thinking critically beyond just basic facts about Gandhi, that he was Indian, that he was peaceful. Some of them discussed his actions on fasting and how he implemented that, his ideas on religion. They were impressive results. And I'm not sure if there's just more advanced students in third period, or if it was with me engaging them more as I did. And I was joking with them. You know, some students would at first say, well, they didn't know anything about Gandhi. And I'd joke with them and I'd say, you know, how can you not know anything about Gandhi? You have to know something about the man. I had a quote, an intro quote at the beginning of the PowerPoint, and I'd have them look at that quote and analyze what it says, talking about personal responsibility. Also, I think engaging students in conversations led to more critical thinking versus just me walking around making sure that the work was getting done. So, as you know, getting on my knees and being at their level and talking to them as a person and treating them with respect, you know, as individuals willing to learn, it became evident that the students were more than willing to show me that they could do the work. The PowerPoint, by this point, third period, I think I had managed to get it down where I was effective in my presentation. So what I was relating to the student was comprehensible, and they understood what I was making points of. So I had no qualms with my presentation, at least. I engaged students this time around more than I did so in second period, and students were responding well. Again, I didn't have any students lowering their heads. So this leads me to discuss the warm demander method, and I considered it, at least in third period, to be extremely effective. There is a student in third period who's not really known for participating, and he did the work. I had to come around a few times, and he was kind of looking into space and wasn't really cooperating with his team members. So finally I told him, what's going on? What don't you understand? You know, to quote Josh from 475 in January. And he says, well, I don't get it. I go, tell me what you don't get. And he says something to the effect, well, he's not sure what Gandhi represented. So I had him pull out his notes, and I had him read off what was on the list. And he kind of rolled his eyes again and whatnot. So I told him bluntly, I said, look, either you can do the work now, or on your lunch, I'll hunt you down, and you and I will finish the assignment together. So you work with your group, or you work with me. And I kind of smiled at the end to let him know that I was joking. And he laughed and said, okay, okay, teacher. I walked away, and when I came back, he was actually the student facilitating the progression of the classroom. So that made me feel good. It made me realize that I had gotten to this student to at least do his work for this one day. And once the class was over, as he was heading out, he comes up and says, teacher, so when are you going to teach me again? And I just kind of smiled and said, you know, in a couple of weeks, well, there'll be another lesson. But next time, don't give me such a hard time, or something to that effect. And he kind of laughed and said, all right, I got you. So it was nice seeing me implementing the warm demander and the student responding well to it. And overall, I was able to joke more with students. I felt more comfortable with the content that I was sharing. So as I walked around, I joked with other students as well. And I think it led to a more relaxed environment. It wasn't so as structured as maybe first and second period, where students were sitting up watching a stranger per se, although I've been in the classroom since November, instruct them on a lesson. So I really enjoyed taking part of this warm demander experience that I kind of put together. It showed me that it's an effective method, at least for me, and my demeanor with students, joking with them and engaging them in conversation, letting them know that I've sat in their seats. Literally, I went to Baldwin Park High School, but more than that, I understand what's going on in their environment, and it's comforting for me that students know that I can be used as a bridge for them to help them achieve their goals.